Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Citizen Odyssey stream. And I have with me today the Posthuman validator, Valentin. Guys, what's up?
Yes, hello, Sergey,
Hi,
hello,
hi,
Citizen
Sergey.
Cosmos. We was waiting for this meet for the so long time, and now we are here. It's so great and amazing to participate. I think in the oldest podcast in the cosmos. Yes, if I think
Wow.
Citizen Cosmos, I think it's the first, or not the first, the podcast about, but I think one of the oldest. Yeah, maybe Interchain
It's
FM also
I
can
think I
compete it.
think Interchain FM was before. We were second, but we were the first ecosystem podcast, and Interchain FM was the first Cosmos Hub podcast. We were the second that launched, and we were definitely
Today we're
one.
10th with validators.
You are we are so let me a little bit this is not my interview, this is your interview. Wait a second, but let's go for it. I like it. So we have three formats. We have the podcast format, which is strictly audio, and it's strictly podcast. This is not the strictly audio format. Then we have two more formats. One is the one we're doing with you now. This is the validator and project exploration thing, which is with the video, and we are live on YouTube. But I don't think we have, like, we're not big on YouTube, so we mostly use the recording to promote. But it is live right now. And the new format that we launched, which we only had one episode from, was the interchain debates nights of the IBC table. And the first one was with Jack Zampolin and Jacob and Sam Hart and Sasha about Atom 2.0. So we have three formats. This is the second format that we launched, essentially. So yeah. But guys, let's stop interviewing me. Wait. Damn it. Guys, let me do a small intro for you, and then I will let you introduce yourselves. But I want to introduce you because, like, well, first of all, like, I've been talking to Valentin for a while, and with Vlad, we are friends for many years. And it's not the first time I have friends on, but this one is an exciting one for me. Um, Vlad, I met when he was doing illustrations at Cyber House in Minsk, and this was in 2016 or
No, I
something.
think it will. I think it was in 2018, but I think we even met before in 2017 in Moscow. I think it was.
Yes, I think it was 17. But regardless, right, guys? Since then, like, we since doing illustrations at Cyber Place, I've seen Vlad go through hundreds of changes, and he always had these ideas of distributed things, decentralized things. And I've heard him talk about distributed validators. Well, having the ideas of a distributed validator years ago, before this was a thing. And I've seen you guys develop communities. I've seen you guys develop loads and 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 loads of things. So my first question is this: how did you get from Cyber House illustrations to this? How was the journey? Where did
Whoa.
Valentin come in? Wait. It's only part of it. Where did Valentin come in? And everything else included, because Valentin became a huge part of that, and I know that already now. So please, can you tell me not just about your journey, but if you can include, or maybe Valentin, if you can add and talk about how was the journey. Tell us all about it, please.
So I think I need to start because, and in one moment it will be crosses with the Valentin, and Valentin also will tell his way to our cross of our ways. And really glad that the blockchain connecting people and that our ways are crosses in this digital and not only digital reality. So since 2019, I start to validate testnet of the cyber. And also, because of you, Sergey, I met with the Cosmos Station team. And I start to help to the Cosmos Station team as the community advocate and just explain to the people how to use Cosmos Station wallet app, how to vote for proposals. And my first guide how to vote for proposals in Cosmos using Cosmos Station wallet app was on an example of the proposal in Cosmos about cyber to to give 10,000 atoms to the cyber. It wasn't passed, but it was the example was on this proposal. So it was a long time ago. And since that moment, the Cosmos Station Wallet app helped me to understand Cosmos ecosystem very good, because when users ask me how to use this function, what to do this, why my transaction is failed, and so on and so on, I need to understand the network very good. So more Cosmos Station Wallet app was adding new networks, more networks. I need to research. I start to research one network, another, more. And in one moment, I understand that this is the best and the most interesting ecosystem among all blockchains, much more interesting than Ethereum ecosystem, even if Ethereum ecosystem was bigger, but it wasn't so based on community. It wasn't so based on enthusiasm. And even if Ethereum have a nice level of decentralization, a lot of projects on Ethereum haven't such nice level of decentralization. So Cosmos ecosystem was really like a fresh wind, and solve so many problems. And the idea is amazing. So I start to help to more and more projects. And in one moment, I start to understand. Think, okay, we need to represent this to other people. When you know something amazing, you start to have a feeling that you want to share it. Yes, this is the like kind of evangelism. Friends, did you read that book? They write, don't kill, don't steal, don't lie. Amazing. All of you need to know this. If everybody will do like this, it will be like the heaven on the earth. So I start to be evangelist of the Cosmos ecosystem, and I understand all projects in Cosmos ecosystem are friends, not competitors. So, and this vision and understanding helped me to be a good networker between the projects. And I met more and more people who are also enthusiasts and who are also interested in the development. So most of them was the validators. And I start to make the validator show and invite different validators on the different levels. So one person, big command of people, and ask them, what is validation for you? Why you validate this project, not another project? How it's, and also Citizen Cosmos was on the one of this, the validator show about Cosmos Network, and we collect the 8% of voting power of Cosmos Hub. So this is was like the big voting power, and we was speaking together. And in the one moment, I understand, okay, validation is very interesting. This is the highest level of the contribution to the network. If you want to contribute to the network, you can tell about this network, but also you can provide the security and the specific of the Cosmos networks, that the active set of the validator, it's not endless. So it means inside of this active set, validators need to do something to be an active set. It's not like in other networks. So validators need to be contributors. To validate means to participate. And this amazing idea and forced me to run more validators in the different networks. And because of the connections and helping to the people, it was easier for me, because people already knew me, because I help them in the community. I tell how to use this, and after I tell all friends, I run my validator, and people tell, oh, okay, nice. I will delegate to you because I know who you are. And as it was 2 years ago, kind of this, it was not so big concurrence, and it was a lot of free spaces in the active set, so it wasn't really hard. Now it's a little bit harder to be in active set, and some networks you need to have a delegation around like 500,000 to be in active set, as the Cosmos Hub, for example.
Before I move on to you, Valentin, I just want to add to something, to connect to something that Vova was saying, if I can say Vova, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Vlad, thank you.
Vova, it's nice, yeah.
I think you were mentioning, about telling everybody what you want to tell, and I think it's like being in love. When you're really in love, you want to tell the whole world that you're in love, and so. But before we get more to discuss this, Valentin, do you want to introduce yourself? I did mute you because you have a little bit of echo. Let's try again. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell how you got to work with Vova and how you connected?
Having me today. Me and Vladimir are very proud to be here. My story is a bit shorter because tried to find a solution how to in the Cosmos ecosystem, or not in the Cosmos ecosystem, but in crypto in general. And I found Vladimir's project a bit around about 1 year ago, and asked him for something can do for the Cosmos ecosystem, some other things, and he proposed me to translate some things, and I started to translate some documentation, some things, and found the Cosmos ecosystem is very interesting thing that I want to know more. I want to know the Cosmos ecosystem, and I chance to be one of the moderators of one Cosmos ecosystem communities and the Twitter, and so interesting to do something new in such fresh, such interesting space, and now
Nice. I love it. But Vova is definitely what in Portuguese, because I'm in Portugal now, they have a word like in Russian, personage. He is a persona. There is so much of him. Tell me more about how you how you connected with Vova, because it's not easy. Let's be honest. Vova is a friend of mine, and I can say that he's a very extravagant person. He has a lot of ideas, and he implements those ideas.
it was too hard to connect with Vova because I first reached him, and he okay, I will give you some tasks to do, and so on. And he lost, and then I thought that he's maybe he don't need it in my skills or something like that. But a bit later I reached him another time, and he said that yeah, we could do something, and we started something. Today you told about the Russian. We brought some sport epaulets we together on your show.
Sergey, your microphone is turned off.
It's funny because I was saying to you, your microphone is turned off. So that's what I was actually saying to you. Can you repeat again what you were saying about the implements? I heard Valentin, but can you repeat your things, please? You were showing the emblema. I get it.
Yeah. I was just showing the cosmonaut.
We all got lost. Okay, but hey, by the way, the echo is gone now, so it seems that we don't need to mute ourselves too much. But there is sometimes, so in case, just let's watch it. But anyways, so guys, but I still want to understand one thing, and because this is like the format of this episode, or the format of this format is to explore the validator, not just in terms of what they do, or but also why do they do it. And you already mentioned Vova Vlad. I say Vova, but then I look at your name and it says Vlad. Okay,
Vladi.
Yeah. But anyways, you mentioned already, seeing the community involved, but how did that interact with you? Why did you decide to become a validator? Not necessarily in the Cosmos ecosystem. Why do you think it's important to participate, being a validator on blockchain? What is the idea for you? Yeah,
my story is really interesting, and sometimes it looks like a Netflix serials. So before the validation, and big part of my life, near half of my life after I became a student, and kind of when I was 17 years old, I was thinking, okay, we need to change this world. something broken in this world. Ecological crisis, the economical, centralized economics, centralization of the power, war, and so on and so on. And I start to try to change this world, as all people who is 17, 18 years old. So I joined human rights movement, ecological movement, social movement for social rights, anti-fascists, and so on and so on. Animal rights also, I'm vegan. So big part of my life, I was participating in the small communities where we meet by in the circle, speak by the right hands. We was trying to reach the consensus. So the first book of the consensus that we was translated from Spanish or Italian to Russian, it's exists book of How to Reach the Consensus by the Peter Gilderlos. And it was before the blockchain, and we was dreaming about the coming to the consensus when the humans will reach the consensus, and we will stop, and we will create kind of the more interesting, more horizontal society. So by this way, when I met with the blockchain, I saw that the consensus already implemented in the blockchain. We already have decentralized horizontal structure, and we don't really need to try to create it in the material circle. So it means if you have the meet of the 30 people in the material world, you need facilitator, moderator, person who will write the line, who will tell, raise the hand, and so on and so on. So to build the real horizontal connection in the material world, it's hard. Okay, for the 30 people, it's okay. For 300 people, it's impossible. And in the digital world, we can make a meet of the community with 5,000 people, 10,000 people, and it will be horizontal. And digital give to us the best tools to change the material world. So if I will try to change material world by the material methods, it's very hard. It means I can make, for example, I don't know, manifestation, 100 people will spend 2 hours with the flags and slogans, and it will be like a 200 human hours. And who will see this material manifestation? 100, 1,000 people more. In the same time, 2 or 3 persons can make a video that will get million views. And they will spend on it not 200 human hours, but 800 human hours. And more people will see it, more people will understand it, and it will change the material world. So to change the material world through the digital, much more easy and much more faster. If we want to create new model of the society with the new economical model, new social model, new governance model, we don't need to make this experiments at first in the material world. And we know how most of these experiments in the material world finished very bad, even for those who was the main ideologist of these experiments. Yeah, we know this dark ages of industrial centralized totalitarianism with the Stalinism, fascism, and we can see it even now when the centralized small groups create the wars and kill the people in the interest of the small groups. Like, for what we need such cruel experiments in the material world when we can create the model in the digital world? And this is our metaverse. And we can make an experiments with different social models. You want the totalitarian hierarchy? Let's look how it works in the digital world. You want the planning economics, or you want a free market, or you want a mixed model, or you want economics of sharing or economics of gift. Let's make these experiments in the digital society. In the digital world, we will look how it works. And if it works good in the digital world, we can implement it to material world, and nobody will die. If we will, sorry, friends, recall me. If we will do it directly in the material world, we can get such results that a lot of people will say, "Oh my God, what we are created." So for me, this participation in the building of the new decentralized uh, connections, Web3, it's the only one positive possibility to change this world and make this world better place for the many people. And I see how our all we do in the digital world have good answers, good results in the material world, in changing of material world. And when it's so connected, I start to understand the material is real as the digital is real. Just digital and material, it's a different sides of our reality. But digital, the same real as material. And this changed my mind.
I love this. I think for everybody who is listening to our podcasts and watching streams with you can definitely understand now right now why we are friends. But it reminded me when your phone was calling. Sorry, I just remember the story when I was about 16, I think, or 17. I was in this druid gathering with druids, yes, real druids, and some of them were wearing self-made, armors and full clothing from like medieval times. And I remember at the last day of the gathering, one of the guys who was one of the main, like the most extravagant guy with all the armor and the druid things and everything. And this is the last day, everybody's taking camp off. And then this is this picture of him with a mobile phone and his old Nokia's back then and shouting about insurance. No, I don't want the insurance. And I just remembered when Vova was talking about all this, and then suddenly call me back again later. It was a good combination. But before we get into that, because I took some notes when you were talking, but I want to ask also Valentin the same question. What is it for you that is connected to the blockchain?
Right now, I deep involved helping people to understand what they could do with the blockchain, how they can swap their tokens, they can enable restake or something like this. And when I try to help people these things, I also learned about it by myself. And now I'm on the my maybe on the step forward, and we have some learning initiatives, school, ambassador school, and so on. And I'm also a mentor in these things. And why? Because I like to people who really want to do something reach their, because when I had some troubles, some things, Vladimir, for example, he helped me with it. He brought me to this Cosmos ecosystem, and he told me um, how I can um, be here and what I can do here. Then I found some things that I like more. I on this, and right now I'm trying a lot to educate, to teach people which are really needed in it, and connect people with each other. For example, you want to have someone from the Cosmos ecosystem podcasts. We have lots of connections, Vladimir, with others from Posthuman team, and connect. We can connect others who really want to do something. That's very interesting, and I guess we do lots of stuff for the whole Cosmos, connecting people and creating stuff for them.
It's an interesting thing. When we started with Citizen Cosmos for a long time, it took me a while, and it still is. What do you do? What do you do? What does it you do? You're a validator. What, you hold infrastructure? No, we're not exactly that. We're an ecosystem developer. We develop ecosystems, and then people ask, but what is an ecosystem developer? It's like a city manager. You have a city, and you have managers, and those managers manage the city. If I go to right now to New York and I say, hey, New York, if you give me $1 million, I can get you. Well, maybe New York is not interested in my skills, but maybe, New York, New York number two, that is on Bali, for example, a new city. And I can tell them, if you give me $1 million, I can attract new partnerships, new businesses to build your city, new people, new citizens to your city. And this is exactly what you guys are doing. I think you're developing the ecosystem in general, helping it to grow, whether it's users, whether it's businesses, whether it's builders, whether it's investors, whether it's projects, whether it's anything.
Yes, yeah. This is kind of the decentralized management. So before, in the previous industrial paradigm, where everything is centralized, it was impossible to be a part of the some management of the city or infrastructure or something like this. Because it was some kind of monopolization of small groups, and those people who already get this social place don't want to give this social place to somebody else. And the decentralization, it's a big opportunity for everybody, every person who want to change something, every person who want to bring some contributions can do this. And this is what really help for the many people to be involved in the governance. And this is one of the main idea that goes with all humanity through the all evolution. If we will look at the first, we had the very centralized form of governance, kind of authoritarianism. The most powerful person who can beat all others will be the main. After we see that exists some, for example, king and small sub kings, after people tell maybe monarchy not the best, let's decentralize the governance. Governance will be among 300 people, 500 people. Let's make some federation or kind of this. And we see how it goes in the way of the decentralization of the social power. When more and more people can be involved in the process, that's interesting for them. And when my life depends on this, it means when I live in the centralized state, I don't choose the laws. I'm not in the consensus with the laws of the most of the countries. And nobody asked me, do you want to live by these laws or not? And nobody give me a possibility even to change it. And they tell, oh, if you don't know the laws, it's not our problem. Go to the prison, or kind of this. So, and the most terrible, that to understand the laws, you need to go to the Institute of the Laws, and 5 years spent to be informed about laws by which you need to live. And as my opinion, laws must be so simple that even 6 years old kid can understand all the laws of the society. And the consensus give me such way, because we are always looking for the new forms of the consensus. And as the result, we try to make such consensus that will be very clear for everybody, for the most of the people. Okay, sometimes we need to explain something for the kids, but society not made of the kids. Okay, we need to get the responsibility. When kids grow up, we need to tell, okay, don't throw the toys to another kids. It's not like, okay, here you can play, but here is the kitchen. Don't destroy the dishes. Kind of this. But most of the people are not kids. And most of the people don't really know the laws. And don't know. And so now in the blockchain, we can change this. And this is something amazing. So we already pass through this step, I think, when we understand that economics will be decentralized. And we understand that we easily can create different economical decentralized models, different tokenomics, many tokens for everything or one token for everything or something. The next step of this, how we will govern it, how we will decentralize the governance. And even Vitalik Buterin speak about it, about a decentralized society. But I think that Ethereum is too slow compared to the Cosmos, because Cosmos has this specific of the what because the DAO is already implemented in every network. Every Cosmos network, it's a DAO. We already have in the code possibility to create the proposals and to vote for the proposals. So, and because of it, there are a lot of people who have this inner wish to make the new governance models, participate in it, and we do a lot of mistakes. And our models now not the perfect, but they are much more better than any other model that is exist. Even if we as the researchers, and I have even research about the problem, social problems of proof of stake networks, all proof of stake networks, on example of the Cosmos. So, and even if I see the problems, I can tell that even with these problems, we are better than any other governance system in this world. And what we will create in the near future, it will be much more perfect. And this process goes really fast, not like in the industrial world or pre-industrial world when the people have the monarchies, this revolution, dictatorships, and other trash. We do it in the years, like 1 year, 2 year, new model, 2 years more, new governance model, and nobody died.
Valentin, do you want to add anything to Vova?
If we still on validation part, why we are here as validators and what we can do, what we can do here. Here in the blockchain space, we could anyone that we can. For example, if you want to be a video editor, you could be video. If you want to be some funds manager, you could be the funds manager, and you don't need someone's permission to do this. And this is a very interesting thing, and also one of interesting thing why we are here, I guess, because it really this system really is really on their reputation, on your reputation. If your reputation, people will hear you, people will try work with you, and so on and so on. If you lost your reputation, it couldn't be returned. And this is also a point in the blockchain space.
For sure, and I think talking about laws, Vova mentioned laws and books, and I've always been since I was pretty much like age of reason. I'm gonna use George Carlin's words here. I think the only law that made sense for me, we can start just with one: don't do on people what you will not do to yourself. And it's enough. This is all we need for the whole universe. But I want to ask you guys a different question. This was just something to comment to it there. This is the philosophical part of posthuman is interaction, is interchain, really interoperability, communication, education, exploration. I love that. What is currently, because I mean Valentin already mentioned school of validators, translations, obviously staking, Vlad, you mentioned. Obviously, I know you guys are involved in Utron. Can you talk a little bit, Vlad, about, or Valentin, whoever wants, about what projects you guys currently have? All of them.
Can I start?
Yeah, okay. Let's Valentin will start. Yeah, and after I will finish, and my finish will be bigger than start.
But we don't compete. We have lots of. First, we are validating 27 plus it's about 30 Cosmos SDK based and non based like Solana, Velas, and so on. Instead of this, we have some educational initiative school where we study validators how to connect with the chains, how to speak with them, how to contribute to the chains. We have ambassador school as part of our distributed validator. We synchronized with some validators, not organized because things is when somebody organized them, but we are synchronized by themselves. Nobody organized us. We have a few validators. It's 20, I guess, and we in validator school most of us. And next thing is ambassador school. We are teaching ambassadors how to contribute for the new projects, not only just create some memes and dump tokens, but to launch, for example, Discord or something like this, how to moderate, how to moderate Telegram, and so on and so on. In my part, I started to work with Figma tool to create some info, not how to copy paste something, understand how it's created with part of these infographics. So lots of time we spend right now on decentralized governance of our own validator at this moment. Also, we right now involved in Neutron's testnet organization. Also, it's really hard. And all validators who are validating lots of chains should understand can conversate with all. It's too hard. And if it's more than 10 or 20, it's really hard to, you can say only other and the day is gone. That's it. Vladimir, you can add about all of this stuff.
Yeah, so as the beginning, when I started the Posthuman validator, I was alone up to 13 chains. And when I had 13 chains, I understood, okay, just all my day, I wake up, I sit in front of the computer, I sit kind of 36 hours. After I go to sleep, I sleep kind of 12 hours, wake up, sit. And because it's endless updates, voting, and you just can spend all the day by making voting and inform the community how you vote. And I understand it's okay. Like I'm a slave of the machine. And I understand that I need to decentralize myself. And I start to decentralize myself and start to invite people with whom I was doing something to help me and to share the income from the validator.
So now we are 7.
Now we are 7 people, yeah, already. And the amount of the networks more than 13, more than 2 times bigger. So, and after it, when I start to do this, in one moment, we always have a good connections with other validators, and 2 of them, it's a Web3 Forever and CyberG, and we are friends, digital friends with them since the Cyber Testnet. We met there, and we still friends, and we was the 3 co-founders of DVS, Decentralized Validator Systems, and it was an idea that when the validators competed inside of the network, it's not always good because network need cooperation, not the competition. Validators don't need to fight for the delegators and spend their time to take delegators from. They need to provide the security, help to each other to make this network more safe, and involve more people, not to fight for the delegators. And this idea comes that validators need to be distributed, decentralized, and speak with somehow. How we can do that? Validators stop to fight for the delegators, and so on and so on. And next step, next vision, it's we need to transfer all Web 2 to Web 3. All web pages, all services in Web 2 that's now centralized must be decentralized by our ideal vision. How we can transfer millions of the web pages and services from Web 2 to Web 3. Cosmos SDK give to us perfect answer. Make a blockchain. Who will validate? Okay, we don't have really enough validators because we have the validators that's a very high level and for a long time, like a P2P validator, Stakefish, Cosmos Station. They validate since the validation exists, like a little bit more than 3 years. They are already too big and they already take the part of the market or something like this, if we can speak. Yeah, and new validators, they don't have such big experience. They need to take this experience from somebody. And for me, it was very helpful that I was helping to the Cosmos Station team to be a community advocate, and it helps me to understand validation better. And also I was speaking with other validators. So in the one moment, I understand through which way I was best to become a validator, and other people who became a validator like CyberGen, Web3 Forever, they also give this feedback, and we create this educational model to make from the person validator in the short time, kind of. And it was the target for us, like 1 month with half, 1 month and person. And we start to work with this model. And now we already produce more than near 100 validators. In a lot of Cosmos chains, you can find the validators that finished validator school, and we update the model. And now people come, learn the humanitarian part, what is about contributions, what project needs, how to contribute, how to speak with other validators, why you don't need to compete but need to cooperate and help to each other. The technical part about cybersecurity, where to choose the server, and so on and so on. And after practical part, we launch together testnet, sending Genesis transactions, sending empty transactions, go to jail, go out to jail. All other networks do this, and we do it with our students. As the result, we produce the digital army for the decentralization. We are the decentralized forces of consensus. We come to bring you consensus. We will, even if you think that we are enemy, we will try to do everything to be a friend with you. So, and these two ideas, one of them moving Web 3 to Web 2 to Web 3, and another that the validators need to be friends and somehow stop to compete and start to cooperate, come to the next idea that the decentralized networks need to be validated by decentralized validators. Because even if now we have a decentralized network that's a trustless, because a lot of computers all over the world support this. What if the one validator participate in many interactions? And I see it by the Posthuman validator. I understand we provide IBC reliers for Juno, Osmosis, T-Grade. And in some networks, we are the only one validator who provide IBC reliers. It means if our validator fell down, the channel will fall down. And we are paying for the all transactions, like a T-Grade, for example. And I understand, okay, and we have so many of these reliers. Okay, if the validator is small and don't provide such infrastructure for the many chains, but we provide, what if we will die accidentally by in the flight from the one place to another place, because like accident or something happens, I don't know, new form of COVID. Decentralization don't need to stop. Blocks must go on even if we will die. Said but true. So I start to try to decentralize myself by the sending ledger to my brother, like, and I say, brother, if something happens with me, you have this ledger with the mnemonic, call to these people, give to them this ledger, everything will work. Yeah, I send it to the another developer of core team. So we understand, okay, now we are by the group. So, okay, we have the ledgers or something with the private keys. Very nice. But what's next? And we come to this idea of the decentralized validator. Because who is most interested in the validator? Delegators and the networks. So if delegators are interested in the validator, that validator not shut down and so on, and users, they need to have possibility somehow to govern it. And what is to govern validator? It's have possibility to change the name, change the commission, change some parameters. Like now one person or small group can change all information about validator, even shut down it. So delegators will have such possibility. And we start to implement this decentralized governance. And we create decentralized autonomous synchronization, not organization, because it's organization created in the process of synchronizing, not in the process of organizing. And so, and we start to distribute voting power about our validators through the token PHMN. And this PHMN token, it's a governance token of the validator voting power, but also inside of it, we have kind of capitalization. And the value, it goes directly from the income of the posthuman validator. So posthuman have the income from many different networks. We collect part of this income, convert it for now into Juna, buy for half of this Juna PHMN token, and put it together with second half of Juna to the liquidity pool. So from one side, PHMN token never grew up. So it grew up, but very slowly. And from other side of pool, Juna always add more and more, because we take PHMN and put it back. More Juna, take PHMN and put with more Juna back. As the result, we have the model of constantly growing in the price token until we artificially, spatially add the value to the PHMN, because it's a trustless price. It's not trustless. Now it depends on me and on the ledger. But very soon, smart contracts will do it. And we will run the blockchain for the posthuman validator, and other validators will validate blockchain of posthuman. Posthuman will not validate posthuman blockchain. And those validators who will govern our posthuman blockchain also will have part of the power. So they also will be interested in the posthuman validator, because for them will be or delegate to me or delegate to posthuman. For me, it's not reason, because posthuman is also me. So it means that we stop to be enemies. We don't fight, and I can easily tell, delegate to any of the validators. We not compete anymore for the delegators, because all validators are good. Delegate to all others. We are like, love the neighbor, love like yourself. Distributed ego. We distribute our ego, because interest of others became my interests. So, and we try to decentralize the validator and make an example for the others, because we think that in the future, only decentralized validators will be have success. Why? If I'm a delegator, I have choice to delegate to the not my validator, to validator of my friends, to validator of good people, to validator of people with big authority or something like this, or delegate to my validator. When I delegate to others validator, I just get the reward. When I delegate to my validator, I get the reward, the same reward, but also part of the profit of the income of this validator, and also governance power. And also I can board, and also I can distribute the budget, and also I can be a part of something bigger than me. From the side of the networks, if they will invite validators, who they will invite? The validator who can shut down node by their own wish or by the accident, or the validator who can shut down machine by the proposed governance proposal among the huge community of the delegators. And this huge amount of delegators that govern the validator, it's a sub-governance of the network. It means when I invite decentralized validator to validate my network, I invite sub-governance. I invite people who are already involved in the governance process. It means they will participate in the governance process in my network. So I think that it's just like a next step. It's a fractal. Decentralized networks that are validated by decentralized validators. Next step, of course, of this based on the moving of all infrastructure on the decentralized storages. Because for now, our services, or most of the nodes, not on the decentralized storages, but on the centralized storages. And this is the problem. And this is when we finish this step. I don't know. I think that it will be like the very this is the for now. For this is the nearest protopia to decentralize the governance of validator, and after to move all infrastructure, and they goes together, because easy create decentralized governance, we need to have a decentralized infrastructure that all payment can go through the proposals by the wish of the governance, through the smart contracts, not by the human wish.
I have a few devil's advocate questions. I like devil's advocate questions, but before I want to make a comment. By the way, two comments actually. One of you mentioned the big name validators, and they validate since the beginning 3 years. I would argue with that. I would say that things like Steam and Golos, which existed 5.5 years ago, was already DPoS. Yeah, the DPoS was broken, but we're already there. But no, this is just like a little bit of a show off. But devil's advocate thing. You mentioned the distributed validator, and you mentioned that the validator can do a vote via governance on shutting down the validator. And of course, as a network, I would be interested in a validator who cannot shut down with one person, but who can be shut down via governance. And now the devil's advocate question: what about the urgent security upgrade?
So, and this is the question of the how we see it now. We see it with the multi-sigs and with the committees. So it's kind of the sub-DAO. So, for example, with the community, we can say we can create the one key that will be private key, and from this private key create several small private keys. And even more, we can create this private key that's way that nobody will know this original. So nobody will control this many small private keys. And we already can do it. And also we validate, for example, SSV network that's based on this, like exist operator keys, and from operator keys you create many validator keys, and you run a lot of validators. And if one validator go shut down, other validator still works. So by this way, we can create from the one operator keys a lot of validator keys, and we can create the multi-sig by this validator, and we can give this, and we can tell this is the crew of the developers who are answering for the updates. For example, these 5 developers answering for the update of the Cosmos Hub, and these 5 developers answering for the updating of node of the Juno. They have this multi-sig, these developers have this multi-sig. And after with the proposals, we can create new numbers. If the community stop to work to the crew of the developers, we can, by the community, we can say, create new validators keys from the unknown operator keys and give them to the new group of the developers. So for now, we see it like this. And for this, we want to run our blockchain.
Vladimir, some things about also this thing, that we doing all things step by step. Now we have these problems, then we will distribute more voting power with tools which in the process of decentralization.
Yeah. So many questions we solving by the way. So we have this vision. We know how it must be, And by the way, we give the part of the power, more and more power. So sometimes I already heard some critics and they tell, oh, they decentralize the voting power, but Posthuman team have kind of 30% of voting power. This is the not pure decentralization. Friends, all other validators have 100% of voting power. And most of them even don't start to decentralize it. So even if Posthuman team have a kind of 30% of voting power, it's much more less than all others. So we going by this. It's like with the kid, yeah, because we understand if we will give the voting power directly for the many unknown people, it can finish bad. So we are looking for the people who are interested in the decentralized governance, who are involved, who are long-term thinkers, and who will not sell everything. I get something, let's sell it. Yeah, and we involved other validators. For example, No Jumper, it's a crew of the validators, joined the decentralized governance. God Hunter validator also, you can see this person in the cyber active set and so on and so on. Post-capitalist validator joined us, and more people. More enthusiasm.
Vladimir, we should suggest to Citizen Cosmos
Yes.
our
We invite Citizen Cosmos to be a part of the governance of the Posthuman validator, because we trust you and we understand that your proposals and your voting proposals will be based not on the short-term economy. Our coin grew up in 2 times, sell everything. Your vision, your decisions will be based on the long-term vision of the creation of building of the Web3. So we invite you, and we ready to give you some voting power, even if it have a value.
Today I heard one story. Not so long time ago, we asked one guy to be with us in DVS. He accepted by our yes, and today I had a conversation with him. He told that I asked, do you have some funds? Maybe someone give on the weekly, on monthly basis, and so on. Do you have salary? He asked that. He heard on some web stream that he can distribute governance, and he just responded to Vladimir him 10 PHMN, and that was his salary. But he has he delegated in our DAS.
So he was paid. No, but but man, of course, this is something we would be very much highly interested in, and thank you for inviting us. Of course, let's discuss this, and we would definitely love to participate. And of course, we are not someone who would be interested to because things what you're talking about is, of course, have been, I think, on people who have been working Web3 for a long time. And it was I think it was actually with Cyber G for sure. Cyber G was there. I think it was when Evmos was launching. It was over a year ago, but like one of the very first testnets. And I think I even created a Telegram group, cooperation validator Evmos, and it was, I think, Cyber G, and it was, we were trying to do. It didn't really work out that way, but we did try to do some things, I remember. So of course it is something that I think all validators should be doing, essentially, is technically trying to exchange power with one another, and understanding that the more they cooperate, the bigger things they can create, and the more they benefit at the end by themselves, of course.
And before, why when we have a proof of work, it was the big discussion, like why we need huge decentralization and so many nodes, because they reasonably tell, if a little nodes, if a little miners, they can come to some conspiracy, meet with each other, and take back the chain and change the blockchain. So we need a lot of miners, and they will never reach the conspiracy. Ha, ha, ha. And nobody can change nothing. When we come to the POS, and we already have the Discord group where we have the most of the validators, and we try to come to the consensus, we can't reach it even if we are 30 or 50 people. So we can't come to the one decision even by the one proposal. So it can be proposal, half of the validators don't vote, part yes, part no with veto. How these people will come to conspiracy to cheat with the blockchain, even if they 50? The problem that we can't get the consensus, and to reach the consensus is very hard. It's very easy to get the consensus on the technical level between the machines. Consensus between the machines, easy. Consensus between the humans, really hard. So, and that's why we need to cooperate to try to find the consensus, because the network where the validators, not only in the machine consensus, but also in the human consensus, will develop very fast. And we can take new updates very fast, and so on and so on. So now we try to find these different ways, and a lot of these moments based on the trust, even if it's a trustless system. And I came to the one interesting idea or vision. So in the system that's based on the trust, like a state, fiat money, where I need trust to the system, I spend all my energy for trusting to the system, not for the humans. And because of it, in the centralized systems that need my trust, the trust between the participants, very low level. In the centralized structure, people don't trust to each other. They fight with each other. And in the structures that are trustless, I don't spend my energy to trust to the system. I don't need to trust to the blockchain. It works even without my trust. So this trust energy I can spend on the participants. And in trustless systems, we have higher level of the trust between the participants. And this is how I see by myself now. And I see that the people in the digital trustless systems trust to each other much more than the material world.
Guys, yeah, Valentin, go on, please.
I just wanted to add some things what we do.
Please.
Instead of all things that we've said earlier, we also working on our YouTube channel. We also working on our speech, different conferences. For example, I've participated in one of Moscow conference. Vladimir participated in Paris conferences. On the 3rd November, he will be in Lisbon, and so on and so on. We
Wait. You're gonna be in Lisbon on the 3rd of November, Vladimir, and you don't tell me about it.
Yes. I will be in the Lisbon.
No, because well, I'm about to buy a ticket today for the next day, and right on the 5th.
Go to Lisbon. It will be nice to see you on the
this is-
staking summit.
But that's what I'm saying. You're buying a ticket for when I'm not gonna. So you should tell me those things. It's 2 days. Let's talk about this later. But okay, talk about this later. Sorry, Valentin. This was
you bought your tickets, but you did it without the respect.
I didn't exactly. No respect for the tickets. You see the 3 lines Valentin has over there. He knows what he's talking about.
Then we had lots of things with product management. Also, Vladimir hadn't told about it, but also and me, but not so. Vladimir, he's working on game. Then we are working on Sputnik network, where people can send something, some in Twitter or Telegram and so on. And we support without any funds from the site. Also, one thing I want to add, that when you're a validator, you should be like a multi. To clarify, you should be product manager. You should be a video editor. You should a blogger. You should be a technical specialist. You should be, and so on and so on.
That's why we have 7 people in our core team and try to decentralize the governance, that more people do more.
Yeah, and we also spend a lot of our free time to create some products, not for us, but for people. For example, somebody good technical skills or humanitarian or something like that, and we as first comers in Cosmos ecosystem and also crypto, we know how to apply their skills in this field. And for example, lots of ideas for different validators, for different projects, how to example, Vladimir yesterday he had about some tokenomics changes for SIF chain, for example. Also, we had some things. I had an idea for cyber, for this case. People asking, what is cyber? This is so user unfriendly, and how to work with it, but could be used as insiders information, social. You if you do post something in Twitter, you can post some or videos or text or and so on. Text you sure, but for example, you is the good technical specialist. You could interesting data from the blockchain, and you could post it on cyber's Twitter, and people could also follow you, and it might be another use case for cyber, for example. And we had ideas for people, and we could share for free, absolutely. And we are doing it. We are doing every day. We're spending time on it, and it's like the game. You are improving your own skills. You are cooperating with some other players, and it's very nice. It's very interesting, I guess.
Yeah, and
go on, Vlad.
yeah, and I want one also part that we change. Not only I was speaking about the changing of the material world, not only about the digital world. And I want to share the screen too, because I think it's much more better to see one time. And this is the place that exists because of the Posthuman validator. We rent the place in the Nigeria, in city of Abuja, and we make we repair this and put the tables and chairs and everything that people need. We buy Raspberry Pi. It's a computer on the Linux with the books that's in the keyboard. We put these computers by the screens directly in Nigeria. It's a BU, it's a used screens, but and we provide free in space with internet and computers for the people. And people come and you can watch the feedback. People come there to become developers, front-end designers. They even if they play games, it's already changed the reality, because In Nigeria, people need to work hard labor 8 hours per day for the $100. And people with machine guns killing each other because of the diamonds. And here is people can come, get the free access to the internet and the computers, became a developer, became a designer, and on the freelance earn 1,000, 1,500, or even $2,000 per month. What it means? People around them stop to work hard labor. Their mothers stop to work, fathers, brothers, only because one person began to make designs or began to make the code or front end or back end. And this is the not it's our first space that works already 1 year. And I really we opened now second place in Nigeria in the city Jos. And Nigeria now very on the high level by the interest in the crypto around among the countries from the industrial that are still in industrial paradigm. Also, we help to the Sri Lanka, and we try to create such spaces where the people can self-educate themselves. Because to become a developer, to become a Web3 developer or designer,
They more motivated.
all you need is to have access to the internet and the computer. And in the most of the industrial countries, people just don't have it. They don't have a computer and they don't have free access to the internet. So we start to give them this access. And as the result, we get the people who change their own lives, change lives around them, and they join the Web3. And they start to develop on the Web3. And on the different levels, I don't sure that all of them will be high-level mathematicians with the back end, but that they will become good front-end developers or write the smart contracts on Solidity or some of this. This is that all they already do. And this is the part of our Posthuman validator charity. So when we start to get the income, we understand that we need to change not only digital world, but try to change this material world. And this is how we combine this digital and material. So if you are interested in the developing of the third world countries, how we call them. So feel free to learn more about Sputnik Foundation. We even have official registration in Nigeria and Sri Lanka.
It's interesting. You guys mentioning basically the same things we do here with Citizen Cosmos. The only difference is we are working a bit closer to us, and we are working with Madeiran places. For example, we teach here locally about alternatives of making money and the myths and realities of blockchains, the myths and realities of businesses on Web3, about Web3 in general. We participate in an art project as well locally here, and we donated the money in crypto on purpose, which they can use to develop their own things. And it's interesting that more and more validators are finally doing this, and we're seeing more and more and more projects doing this. It's amazing. I want to ask you guys one, like, because we went through a few blocks, which was like your story, why you're here, what now. You already kind of answered what's next, which was the next question. So maybe I will focus on two of the things that you say that you didn't really talk too much about, and that will be like our last block. And by the way, about cyber, it's interesting that you mentioned that you guys are developing not about cyber, but about use cases. You mentioned cyber's use cases. You mentioned a game, and by the way, we are actually developing currently a game on cyber. We are close in about the next maybe months to make a first local build.
That's very great news.
Yeah, we are, and the idea is for use case. It's exactly to make our idea is to was. I thought I was very high, to be honest, one day, and I realized I'm not ashamed, and I realized that how can you cyber is too difficult to understand. What is the obvious thing to use it is gaming, and yeah.
But very interesting is the cyber have literally have really more things
Yeah. Yeah.
implemented than other blockchains.
Yeah.
People don't know that it has 8 days, for example, and mhm.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm just agreeing with you completely. I was just saying, yeah, like, yeah. It's exactly like that. This is why this is actually was another reason why it developed on top of Bostrom and not other blockchain. Well, because it's fucking got the whole technological stack there. Yeah, there's no documentation, which is a big suffer. But okay, like you suffer a bit here, you suffer a bit there, you win at the end there. Anyways, again, enough about me. Back to you guys. And like I said, we went like through, I had 4 blocks, which was your story. Why, what now, what's next? What's next, you kind of answered, but you mentioned 2 things, and I want to ask you a little bit more about them. So first of all, you mentioned the game, and you mentioned Sputnik. And I don't know if I'm correct to say that, but they sound like big projects, they sound like big plans, both of them. Maybe you can a little bit extend on the game and Sputnik, so people know what you guys are from big things planning in the nearest future for people who want to join Posthuman Validator or just delegate normally to Posthuman Validator or become part of the distributed validator.
Yeah, and in this case, also better, I think, to share. I want to share the screen because it will be much more easy to understand. So the Sputnik, it start like the project. If Web 2 don't go to Web 3, maybe
Vladimir,
we can help.
so that's
Yep. If Web 2 don't go to Web 3 will come to Web 2, and we start to provide the easy solution, easy tool for the Telegram and Twitter user to send the tips. And now all users of Telegram and Twitter can send tips to each other with the more than 20 coins. Atom, Juno, Osmo, and so on and so on. And we add new and new tokens. Just in the one comment. But after we understand that we want to make this solution, decentralize it and make the blockchain for this. And this is the scheme of what comes to our minds. So it will be the blockchain that we can divide on the 4 different parts. One part is the economical part, and this is the delegators, users who are interested in the economical parts, like the liquidity pool, DeFi, and so on and so on. They are economical people, and they not really interested in the governance. And we can see it by the other networks. So most rich validators even don't participate in the governance because they come to APR, not to the governance. So another part of the blockchain, it's a social part, it's a governance, how we distribute the community pool and how developers get funds to develop the network. And for the economical people will be economical token that gives you all economical utility and pay for the fees and get the rewards, but not participate in the governance. And for the social part will be electron, like electron, and economical part, it's a token neutron because economics must be neutral. So it's neutron. Social part, it's electron. So it's elect. And this token gives you possibility to vote for the community pool spendings and to govern the network, but don't give you any APR. This is not economical token. And also one part is a technical part and about validators, and they have a token proton protection. They protect the network. And neutron, proton, and electron, it's atom made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So the validators will validate the network, but they will get rewards not from the delegators, but from the validator pool. So validators will stop to compete for the delegators because rewards will go at first to validator pool, and after validator will share the validators pool. So all validators will tell, not delegate to me. They will tell, delegate to us. We will share it. So validators will more concentrated on the security, cyber security, and the technical parts, and less on the spending time to attract new delegators. And even if they will spend time to attract delegators, they will attract delegators to all the network, not to themselves. And also it will be the cultural part with the game. And it will be with photon, because the symbol of photon, it's a gamma that's very same with two-word game, and all atoms can produce photons. And in this scheme, we made the game that called metarchy, monarchy, anarchy, metarchy. Yes, like the meta power. And this game will totally driven by the community. It will be a turn-based strategy with the microeconomics, with prediction of the action of other opponents, like in the poker, and is with betting on the results of the events, like the stones, keys, or paper. If I will give you stone and you put skissers, you lose. But two stones, it's a draw. So I can put the bet that I will win or I will lose, and I will, for example, try to lose because I put bet on the lose. And it, of course, will be with NFTs and so on. It's with robots, politicians, artists. It's about near future where all bad things do robots. They produce all goods, electricity, and so on. And humans still are involved in the producing of the meta resources, like wisdom, like power, like art. And we already have big team of the developers and designers. We will this is the first announcement of this game. I think we will make a big official announce very soon. But in this game, we will have new interesting model, like why this token will have value. Because we will make the kind of championships of this game, and people will make these championships, and on the championships we usually see the sponsors. And who is the sponsors in the real world? When you come, for example, to the football match, you see the advertisement of the Google or of the Samsung or of the beer. Did you choose the advertisement on the championship? No. You now in the centralized world, nobody choose the advertisement. Nobody votes who will be a sponsor. We think that we need to change it, and our gamers who will participate in the championships will vote for the sponsors, and sponsors will bring their value to the photon token. So if sponsors want to make an advertisement on the championship, they buy tokens, photon, for their own tokens. For example, it can be Cosmos. They can come and say, we want that all players see the Cosmos advertisement or Juno advertisement or something like this. And they give their tokens. And as the result, gamers fight against each other for their tokens. And when they win the photon token, they can exchange it on the tokens of the sponsors, or they can keep it for themselves and elect with these photons for the next sponsors on the next championships. And this will be triangle of the love, when the sponsors always get best attention because people was voting for them, and they know we was chosen by the people to give our advertisement. Gamers will see the advertisement that they chose, and they play for the tokens that have a value in the tokens of the sponsors, and game happens and everybody is happy. Totally win-win. And this is the first time when the gamers will drive the not only game but all advertisement, and they will choose. And this is the part of this Sputnik network, the blockchain. And we also think that Posthuman validator also will be based on this blockchain to solve this part of the decentralized governance questions. For example, automatization of getting of all income and sending it to the liquidity pool with PHMN and so on, because now I do it manually. I want to liberate myself, and it will be more trustless system. So PHMN will be more value and more interesting for the other people. So this is our main deal that we are, our main target, decentralized validator, run the game, run the blockchain for this, and run the game that will change the vision of how GameFi needs to work. And it will be not play to earn, it will be win to earn. So we will not pay for the people that they play. You need to, it's like in the chess or like in the poker, you need to win to earn something. But of course, all players will get NFTs, and these NFTs, they can trade with each other, and it will be not the last game, it's the first game, and after we will open 2 portals to the 2 other games, and you can transfer the NFTs from one game to another. So in one game, this NFT, it's like can give you +5 to the strange, and in another game, it can give you +10 to the charisma or something like this. And it will be the one game, it will be win to earn. That's kind of stone, skisser, paper, and the poker. Another game will be kind of the metaverse, dark metaverse with crypto gopniks, where you play like a Sims, but you play with the gopniks. You have gopnik, you can send him to the job, he will return back with the payment, or you can send him to fight with other gopniks and he will return his mobile phone, and you have liquidity pool to send the mobile phone to the money or something that your gopniks happy. You need to buy to them beer, send them to the bar. If you give money to the gopnik and send him to the bar, he can return with the drunk girl and produce you new gopniks, and so on. So it will be, and it will be fighting
We
like
not
in
support
Hero Street.
crime. We are support digital
Crime
forms of
yes.
of these things.
Yeah, don't make crimes in the real world. Do crimes if you want to be a bad character. Do crimes and fightings in the digital world. And another will be like a card war game. As usually we play one person against one person. I have a lot of cards. My opponent have a lot of cards. Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, very famous. But exists understanding of war game where a lot of players against a lot of players. So we will make card war game where 50 people play cards against 50 people. But every person just put one card, and after update every turn, this card make his character more stronger, and they are all combined to each other. So, for example, on the example of any other game, swordman, warrior, archer, mage, yeah, and every person tell, oh, I will heal with my mage the warrior, but other your opponents don't attack your warrior, so you just spend the time for nothing because nobody hit the warrior and you don't need to heal the warrior, and so on. So many people will fight against each other with the big army of the cards, and the algorithms on the blockchain smart contracts will solve it very fast. But for this, you need to have a good cooperation between the clan players. You need to speak about tactics before, because you don't have a lot of time to speak in the process of the game. Every turn will go very short. Like these people make actions turn. These people make actions turn. Who killed, who not killed. And it will a lot of about cooperation between people and how they can cooperate before the battle together to get the results.
Valentin, do you want to add anything else about the game and the blockchain?
Yeah, I even didn't hear nothing about this game.
Ta-da! Alpha,
Yeah,
alpha, alpha,
I
alpha.
was surprised. It's so nice.
You
Because
will.
I don't want to disturb Valentin from his deals. So to be true, we have the group of the designers who work with designs, group of developers who work with code, and the Valentin very involved in the evangelism, and he moderates communities. He just
Managing Vladimir's time.
yes, he managing my time much more better than me. So sometimes I so happy that Valentin tell, you remember that you have this meet at this time. I say, oh, thank you very much, you are better manager than me. So, and I don't want to disturb Valentin from all he do already, and I really glad that Valentin helped me to decentralize me, because we need to the other way we will be like Lukashenko. When the person afraid to decentralize his responsibility, he became a dictator and everything goes out of control. One person can't control everything. We are not the gods. We need to understand that it's time to decentralize yourself, to decentralize your responsibility, to give to more to other people, help to other people to be more responsible. Some people are afraid, but from the other side, we need to understand that I can't give my responsibility to the person who is unresponsible. So I will be very glad if I'm responsible for my kid and I know, oh, I will give it to my father. My father grew up me, so he will be responsible for my kid. But I can't give my kid to a unknown person. What will be with my kid? So when I sure that other people have the high level of responsibility and I can share my responsibilities with them and decentralize it, I always do it. Decentralize yourself and start decentralization from your own ego, from your own responsibilities, and you will get much more success if you will centralize it on yourself. If you centralize everything on yourself, in one moment you will be or die from these responsibilities, or you will be like a Lukashenko. Nobody will love you.
I think that the example with Lukashenko is the best. But apart from that, guys, I think, well, whoever is going to watch this video, I would definitely advise to. I think this is the first time I'm going to say that, by the way, in the exploring validators. Usually we spoke actually more. Let's go further. I think like Citizen Cosmos together with podcast episodes and the Exploring Validator series, we have about 20 or so episodes with various validators, and that's Stakefish, it's staking and P2P and many others, maybe more than 20, I think. But I've never recommended to delegate to anybody else but Citizen Cosmos on online. And I would say, guys, if you're watching this video, this is ideas that I think, in my opinion, are important. It's people that talk about, trying to do something to benefit ourselves, whether, something that will, this is exactly, I think, what we were talking about. Don't do to other people what you don't want to do to yourself. And in this case, it's just the other way around. Do to others what you want to do to you. So, and I think that's what the guys are doing. And guys, thank you very, 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 very much for your time. Considering 30 networks that you run, I can imagine how that can be crazy. I know that we run a lot less. We are so soon going to try and run more, but yeah. Guys, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Sergey. I want to tell, delegate to Citizen Cosmos, because Citizen Cosmos for a long time bring so many value, and this value is priceless, because we even can't understand now how it's important and which is the big value to speak with each other, to share your visions, to share your ideas. And if you didn't see previous episodes of Citizen Cosmos, watch it. You will find so many insights, so many inspirations. The people who run the million and billion projects in the streams tell the brilliant ideas, and this is, you will never heard it in any institute, you will never heard it in any university. This is the how our new decentralized self-education works. Watch Citizen Cosmos. This is the brilliant podcast.
Valentin,
Yep.
you want to?
Yep. Which we all should agree that all guys creating chains are crazy, and that
Really?
we could
Loco.
we could find some different models of behavior on these podcasts, on different podcasts, where how to buy and how to sell, and more about how to be yourself, how to find idea, how to find your inner power. Something, maybe you will watch this episode and you will try to learn something new, and it would be very nice.
Guys, thank you again. Don't hang up, but thank you again. Just to say goodbye to you separately. Guys, everybody else, thank you very much for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.